Welcome back to the Sports Business Take Podcast, your home for sports industry news with a little personality. I'm Paul Hine. He is Zach Creekmore. How you doing today?
Doing good today, Paul. My screen froze,
Hello?
but it's okay. We believe in it. We trust the process. We send a little prayer out. How you doing today, Paul?
I'm good, man. I don't think we've ever started recording this late before, so we'll see how this goes. I'm good with it though. I had a full day at internship today. We unfortunately lost, but got some cool videos, tried some new angles, so that was exciting. Although the new angle that I was shooting at, I was absolutely melting in the sun, especially with our field in Lynn is turf. So it was way hotter on the turf too. But no, it was a good time. I've been having a good time at the internship. I feel like I've learned a lot about how to frame up my shot, and been learning some editing things. I finally started using Premiere Pro
Beautiful.
this past week because I don't think you know this yet. So this is going to be a little bit of an announcement. I just got the internship with the UMass Athletic Department for this school year. Yeah. I'm going to be doing video for them for all their athletics this year, which is super exciting because I'm going to get to shoot a ton of sports that I've never shot before. Like football, they told me I'm going to get to shoot football in the fall. And I'm like, I've never shot football. That's awesome. Like, that's going to be really, really cool, especially because UMass is joining the MAC conference this year, and they're moving conferences. So that's going to be really, really cool.
A lot of storytelling there.
Yeah, for sure. And dude, the equipment that I was told by, I guess, my new boss that we have is insane. So UMass is a Sony sponsored school. So all the cameras are like new Sony A7 IV 4K mirrorless cameras. Like top of the line stuff.
For the viewers, let's just put a price tag on what that camera would cost somebody.
Like 10 grand, probably. Probably like
I would
10
say
grand.
Add in all the lenses, add in all the equipment, the setup.
Yeah.
Dude, it's at least a 25 grand camera setup.
Really? You think it's that much?
Yeah,
dude. I'm super excited. Going from I love my current camera, don't get me wrong. But going from my Canon CD to a Sony A7 IV 4K mirrorless, I mean, dude, the quality difference is going to be insane. Like, absolutely insane.
It's a blessing. It's going to be a really cool experiment. It's going to be a really cool experience.
Yeah. And I can use my own camera if I want to, but they usually just have the interns check cameras out because they have the equipment. And I'm sure they have a bunch of other equipment. They told me they have a drone, they have lighting setups, mic setups, all the stuff that you could ever want. I'd say maybe the one thing I'm not looking forward to, or well, maybe not looking forward to, but that'll be different for me in terms of the process of it, is they told me that after each game that I shoot, I'll have to upload to their drive and then sort it by player, sport, and what type of play the clip was. So that's going to be a very tedious process.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least from what it sounded like. But, it's going to be such a cool opportunity that I think that part of it will kind of get washed away. And, the quality of what I'm putting out will get a lot better. And that's why I started trying to really learn Premiere Pro. I knew I was going to have to do it at some point. But they told me we pretty much specifically use, or most of our guys use Premiere Pro, as opposed to I was using CapCut for the first half of my internship, and I still have been a little bit because I'm still learning Premiere Pro, so CapCut can help with some things. But I'm so excited for the UMass internship. So I've been trying to learn as much as I can, in my current internship with the Navigators, to try to get ready for that. And I've gotten so much better, not to be that guy, but I've gotten so much better at actually making a good shot. I will admit, before talking to other photographers, I was a dumbass about my settings. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing because at St. Joe's I got started in basketball, and like gym lighting is so much different from the rest of the world. So I guess my perspective on it was like so warped because that's where I
Mm.
started out in. Um, I was shooting like I was shooting like 1/3 to 4,000 shutter speed. Yeah, yeah, bro. Yeah, and like I was wondering, I wonder why my video looks kind of grainy.
Mm.
I had no idea. And
Yeah, the
then
light exposure you do on the lens is so important.
yeah, I had no idea how much of a difference it would make. And then about 3 weeks ago, I'd say, um, one of the other photographers, who's like one of my friends, was like, "What are you shooting at?" And I told him, he was like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, you should be shooting like 1/500 or less." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" I
Yeah.
mean, like I had shot lower, but like uh, when the games were darker, the more I would turn the ISO up and the shutter speed up to try to compensate for that. And I was
Mm.
just like, okay, now I understand what I'm doing wrong, because nobody had told me that, like, and I've only been doing video for 6 months now, so like it's still a learning process. But my video quality in the last 2 to 3 weeks is so much better than it was before. It's insane. Like I actually look like I am doing professional videos now. So I'm super excited to take that into like my freelance clients and make the quality for them even better than what I had before. Not that the quality wasn't good before. It was still pretty good, but it like I know it's going to be a lot sharper now. I think I've learned a lot. I mic'd up players for the first time. I've done 2 of those. I was going to do another one today, but didn't end up working out. Done a bunch of like brainstorming for content, and really being part of like a content team has helped me develop a lot. So sorry for going on like a 6 minute rant, but that's what I've been up to. How about you?
We're here for it. We love it. Similarly, doing a lot of photography, doing a lot of that work with AC, which has been a lot of fun. Went and did a camp, or not. Well, I went and I shot or did some brand photography at one of our camps this week, which turned out really well.
Okay.
Had some really great photos and great moments. It was really funny, and this is going to sound really whack on video, but like you're showing up with a camera, and there's 40 kids, and you're just doing your jobs. That was my week.
Out of context clip. Somebody clip
Out
that
of
out of
context.
context.
Don't listen to that out of context. It is my job. Officially, kind of
I
going
know.
full
I'm,
time
I'm
with
kidding. I'm
ACC
kidding.
now, which is awesome, and really excited
That is
about
great.
that.
Congrats.
So, kind of going into full on kind of brand management, doing some social development, focusing on community building, and going to be their
Awesome.
USL director of operations for the 2025 season, which will be a
That's
lot of
great,
fun.
man.
So
That's
building
that's
that
really good
intern
to
team
hear.
and running it up. All right. But we'll have a lot of fun with that. I'm really enjoying being there. Other than that, dude, I've been
So
working
you
12-hour
are like
days.
officially in the professional work world now.
Correct. I
Yeah.
am officially a professional in sports,
That's awesome. That is
which
like
is
that's really cool.
crazy to say. And it's
Yeah,
not
that's
updated on my
insane.
LinkedIn yet, but I guess you could say, at least for the next year before I go to grad school, I've made it. Like, I'm in.
Yeah. That's
Credit
dude,
card slapping the table. I'm in.
that's really awesome. Maybe we don't even need guests from the industry anymore. We got a guest. We got a guest right. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding.
I am very
But
much I am the energetic college kid showing up, and I've got a great niche, and I'm gonna boss it for you and do my thing.
yeah,
Uh,
that's really good to hear, man. Honestly. But today we're actually gonna do something a little bit out of the box. We're not gonna talk about a specific topic. Instead, we are going to pose a question and then try to solve it, from the perspective of if we were running an organization. So we've never done this before, so
hypothetical.
we'll see how. Right? Yeah. So we do talk
Hypothetical.
about a lot of. Obviously, I don't look very professional right now, so we can just ignore that. My $8 sunglasses bought from Hampton Beach on the 4th of
Dude,
July.
I thought they were pit
Uh,
vipers. They're pit vipers. I don't know what you're talking about.
dude, like honestly, I like these. They make me look like such an ass. Like it's hilarious. I love it. Like it's so funny. Like that's the only reason that I bought them, because I was like, I know I'm gonna look like such an idiot in these, but it's hilarious.
I love
I've been wearing these to work like all the time because I just think it's funny. But yeah, so I don't look exactly professional. But our question that we are going to pose, and it's a business problem, is you're a major sports franchise. Your city is going through an economic downturn because of a recession. How can you make your product affordable for your fans? And how do you retain your fans? I'll add to that.
it.
So I want to hear where your mind went first on this because I was just talking for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's hard, right? Because we've seen this happen with COVID. We've seen this happen with cities like, for example, I think my mind first went to Pittsburgh, right? Kind of speaking of the study that I did with Coach Woodside, or Dr. Woodside during fall of last year, where I was writing and running my own
Technically,
sports
both titles are
franchise,
correct.
right? Technically, absolutely, yes, right? Legend of the game, Coach Dr. Woodside. Love him. But I think of a city like Pittsburgh where you have a homelessness crisis. I forget the exact percentages. I have the numbers somewhere, right? But the population, in terms of GDP, it's not a New York City. They aren't rich, right? Realistically, you think of those types of cities where economically they rely on the steel industry, and the steel industry is one that's been a bit attacked recently. Let's just leave it at that, right? Politically, we talk about fracking and stuff that's specific to Pennsylvania as a state. And I think of those types of places and I'm like, well, realistically, it's about as a franchise having a heartbeat, knowing your audience and knowing what are the priorities and how you can attack it, and how you can connect to it, right? Now, there's different scales of it, of a really large scale and a really small scale, where someone like a New York, who as a city also has a like relatively large poverty percentages with the homeless, with people who are living in slums, etc. Right? Not to put those people down at all; they are all blessed people, right? To put it in a way of, well, they also have the really high end, but they also have the really low end. So how can we find that middle end? Of we want to connect to that normal person. As a franchise, it's hard, right? Because obviously you're a business and you want to make money.
Right.
Like even right now, right? I'm working at AC Connecticut, and I'm going to talk about ACC because I love ACC and I love working there. Like we are in the greater Danbury area. Danbury is a place that has a really high immigration rate, and the I guess average GDP is not high. So for somebody to be able to afford to play soccer at an elite level, and we've talked about the pay to play problem, we give out over a hundred
Yeah.
thousand in scholarships every year, right? For
Wow.
players to be able to play, right? It's a lot of money, right? So when you think about it, it's like, how can an organization have a heartbeat, build a family, and build a community around something that is recognizingly a problem, but something there where we can defeat the problem? Yeah, there was a fly. I was going to say.
Bro, there's been a fly in here for like 10 minutes, and I've been like trying to ignore it. It's been buzzing like behind my computer and stuff, and I'm like, I really want to like just smash it. And then when it landed on my glasses, I was like, okay, this is a
Had to
problem
give
I
it a
can no
go.
longer
Absolutely
ignore.
had to give it a go.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's
something
gonna
where we
be. I'm gonna put that in
it's
slow
going to be a
motion and
great
just
clip,
put it on TikTok.
but something where we can beat the problem by being people and identifying how people can support each other in a really unique way. There's a lot of ways that I suggested to tackle it. Before we get into it, I want to hear your initial thoughts, and then we can go into idea or more.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you did a good job describing. The one thing I would say that maybe I was thinking of that was a little different than what you were describing was you were talking about like an area that has been like in a traditional sense of poverty. I was thinking of this scenario more as like an area that was doing well that is now
Mm,
coming on to bad times, and how do you adjust to it? You know what I mean?
very
So
true.
like which line do you want to go down? Because I'm fine with either.
Well, I think the reality is there's both, right, in every place.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
because no matter where you are in the world, there's people that are struggling, and no matter where you
Right.
are in the world, there's people that are doing well.
All right. So
And there,
I'm gonna start with the one where you have to adjust, right? Where
yeah,
you
absolutely.
your city was doing well economically, and now maybe something happened, a recession or a tax on like your biggest export, or whatever it is, and now people in your city aren't making as much money. So how do you adjust to that as a
Mm,
franchise? You still want to make money, you still want to bring fans in, but you want to do it in a way that you're still connecting with the community. I think that was the biggest piece that you touched on was is still having that sense of community and even reaching out to the point where you as the franchise are one of the connecting points of this community. People from these cities identify like as a whatever fan, you know what I mean? And that's something that brings people together. And so you still want people to have those experiences, right? You still want them to be
mm.
able to watch your product. You still want them to be able to buy your merchandise. You still want them to be able to buy your tickets. So how do you make all of that affordable? So my first thought went to discounts. That's a huge thing. Be like that can correlate with theme nights,
Yeah.
more specifically in minor league sports than in major league sports. Theme nights are featured. Although I was at the Red Sox game last night, and I think it was '80s night because Wally was had like a full head of like orange hair, which I had never seen in my life before. So I think it was '80s night last night, but that's a side note. Or streaming, right? Because
Mm,
how do you make your product more available to your viewers? And I was thinking specifically over like me being a social media guy, I was thinking a live stream or something different that you didn't have to pay for. Because we've talked about so many times on this podcast how the media landscape nowadays is that you have to sign up for more and more streaming services to access the sports that you want to watch, right? And I think in an area that has a sudden economic downturn and people can't afford to keep buying those streaming services, that's going to make it really tough for fans to watch your product, right? So to me, the easy, well, not the easy, but part of the solution is to start a live stream of games on social media so that families who can no longer afford can still watch.
mm.
Whether that's on Instagram Live, whether that's on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, you can even do all four. And obviously, with if you're a major franchise, you're going to have more money available to get a higher quality camera to be able to do this, and not like just some camcorder. Not speaking entirely from personal experience on that one. Yeah, I think that's part of the solution. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I think you're definitely right. Like the discount approach is totally right. The finding a way to get the product in the hands of fans who otherwise could not access it is the goal, right?
Yep.
So the and here's the thing for me, right? Because I always when I think economic downturn, like I think COVID. I think a situation
Yeah.
where people are having, and this is me, people can't get out of their house, right? If people can't get out of their house, the reality is I need to do something that's through the internet, through the live stream, that's accessible, that's interactive, that's human, and shows the humanity of our organization. That's my opinion and my approach
For sure.
immediately. But
Yeah,
if
for
we
sure.
have the opportunity to meet up somewhere and have an organization, I am a massive fan in these types of situations of the fan fest where,
Yep.
okay, you can't get a ticket, you can't get into the stadium, maybe because you can't afford it, maybe because it's sold out, right? Both work.
Yep.
But I can sell a $5 ticket to a fan fest that's outside the stadium. I've got a big ass TV, pardon my French, but a massive TV, right? And we're showing the game. There's food, there's drink. It's all super cheap, meant to support that,
You know what that
right?
makes
So
me think of is the Celtics had the away games shown at TD Garden during the finals, and people would go
exactly.
and watch at the Garden. And actually, a lot of people showed up. Like it was a big thing. And then the other thing that made me think of when you were talking about the in person experience, I thought of the Savannah Bananas. Right, think about how
Mm,
good of a job they do pregame organizing that crowd and making everybody have fun, even though it's not during the game. Everybody's still having fun interacting with the team and with the players. So, doing that type of a thing, which really isn't done outside, honestly, outside of the Bananas, isn't done in a lot of major sports.
very
You
true,
don't
especially in
see,
the US.
especially in the US, you don't see players out on the concourse,
Mm,
signing balls for kids and stuff. They're on the field if that's happening. It's not a separate event, it's part of the thing. So making that a separate event and making it so that you can still interact with the team, even though you can't go to the game, that creates an opportunity to retain the fan.
Very true. And I think retention is the number one thing, right? Because you're going to say, well, our clients aren't able to spend with us right now, right? Because
Yep,
realistically, sports is a luxury, right? Being able to consume sports. It is something that we all love, but it is a luxury item, right? If
for
you
sure.
are absolutely broke and you don't have a dime to your name, the thing that you're not going to be saying, well, I should be spending $200 on a ticket to a sports game, right?
No. Yeah.
Now, would you want to consume sports? Yeah. But are you going to prioritize a job over that? Are you going to prioritize a
Food.
meal over that? Absolutely.
Yep.
Right? No question in my mind. So, how can we meet people where they are at, make it more accessible, make it better, and how can you involve people who are looking to fulfill social ethics and support the community into that, right? So maybe we go and
Yep.
say, and this is a really stark type of thing because I never am a fan of like asking players to take a pay cut. But right, we sit there and we say, well, guys, can we get together as an organization and support this? And people in the organization say, okay, yeah, let's create something that can make our product more accessible by
Yeah.
donating our parts of our salary back to the organization, back to this
I
cause.
think you really would have to have, like, if you're talking about the players in that
Correct.
scenario, you would really have to have players that are loyal to the organization, because I feel like a lot of players would just jump off board and be like, well, I could just keep my money and go to a different organization.
And that's
But you would have to have players that A, care about the community, and
correct.
B, are loyal to the team.
Correct.
And those are your typical, like, veteran guys, your athletes that have been there for a while, you know. And I think in these types of scenarios that does happen. You do see guys that have been there for a while go out in the community and help people. And that brings me around to where my mind was going next, was community fundraisers,
Mm,
having events to, like, show your organization out in the community, not only your players but your staff, your, maybe not your CEO, because who knows, like how many organizations they own. I'm thinking of like a family sports group, for example. But,
right.
people that work in your organization that are high up, going out in the community, going to, homeless shelters, food drives, community sports events, like all this different stuff, and even hosting events for people to come in and raise money to help the city out. Hosting like a community fundraiser at the park where people can come and donate to a cause that helps people that are struggling in the city. Like, give XYZ scenario of what that like how that represents. It could be a food drive, it could be a clothing drive, it could be, you're donating to, like, orphanages or a children's shelter or something. You know what I mean? There are different ways to do it, but hosting a community fundraiser, really showing the city that you care, is gonna have fans stay with you and stay with your product.
Absolutely. Effectively, what we're saying here is we want our organizations to show that they have a heart, show that that heart beats. It beats a lot, and it beats for the people that are in the city, are involved in its organization. And realistically, in my opinion, that is how you create lifelong fandom, right? With without
Absolutely.
that reinvestment into what our community is as people, without that, if we just see a client as a buck, like that client's not going to want to be with you forever,
No,
right?
and
But if
that's not the
you see that
point of
client as
sports.
more, if you see its people as more, that is when you create lifelong fandom and something that's really unique, right? And that's
Absolutely.
what the goal is, of course. Like that's where our heart is. That's where the sports heart should be. Is it always where it is? No, but
No. Yeah.
we would love for it to be there. A good
Yeah.
percentage of the time, right? Because obviously it's also a business. You have to balance it out, right? You're not there to
Yeah.
be a
Right.
nonprofit.
Right. You can't do everything, but you can do a lot of
A
things to
lot,
help these people out. And especially because, like I was mentioning earlier, sports is something that brings an entire city together.
correct.
I saw it.
Especially during a crisis type situation.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, man, like, right after the marathon bombing in 13 here, I mean, like, the whole city just rallied around the Red Sox. You know, that
Yeah.
was like for the whole summer, for the whole fall, like everybody was just 100% in, and that's what they brought people together.
Mm.
And they did amazing work in the community after that. But like, I know that's just using an example like from my past, but that can happen anywhere. You know, like a tragic event can hit anywhere, and I think really sports has the power to impact people in a way that I think a lot of teams think about, but maybe maybe not necessarily like realize how much the degree of the impact that they can have on their
Mm.
community.
Absolutely.
Can I
Absolutely.
have a sidebar for a sec?
Run the
I just
sidebar.
realized that I haven't plugged my mic in. My mic has been unplugged the entire time that we've been recording. So I think my audio is going either through my headphones or my computer right now.
Bangs.
I mean,
Slaps.
I noticed like my voice was a little softer in the you can how you can see the bar of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
how loud you are. I was like I noticed it was a little softer, so I was like trying to talk louder. I was like, wait, is my mic plugged in? I
Iconic
forgot
moment.
to. Yeah, I mean, I it was just because I was
Oopsies.
eating. It was because I was eating, like because I got home from
Dude,
work,
I didn't want to run the
ate.
ASMR guys. Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna eat on camera. I don't think that would be a very good move for me at the moment. But
Dude, make it ASMR podcast. We found our niche.
that's how we go viral. Start the ASMR once an episode. Jesus.
Oh, that's
Okay,
actually so whack of me. Oh my
I'll
days.
cut that out. Don't worry, I'll cut
No,
that out.
it's a great clip. All right, I'm here for the whack.
No, I'll just cut the last part out. Don't worry. Okay. Anyway, back to what we were actually talking about. Um,
Love it.
we're just gonna rename our show the ASMR show real quick.
Yeah,
Let me change. Hang on. Let me go
let's
into our
let's change the title.
Spotify and yeah, let me go into our Spotify and change the title real quick. It's just make this official. Gonna have to rebrand, create a new logo. We'll get
Zach
we'll
and
get
Paul's
we'll
ASMR
get some.
show.
Yeah,
Zach and
we'll go
Paul's
on.
Zach and
You
Paul's
almost said
ASMR.
HR.
I
You
know.
almost said
I
HR.
was trying to say ASMR and then hour, and I was just messing it up in my head, dude. The
Well, we would have
brain,
to
my
hire
brain.
an we would have
I'm
to
on
hire an
both
HR
lines,
department
right?
for sure if we rebranded to that.
We might need a legal department. That would be the problem.
Yeah, for sure.
People are suing us for mental and emotional damage every week. Woo!
We got to get on Twitch if we do that. Twitch is the place where that stuff really blows up.
Does that mean
And like,
we're doing a podcast episode in the hot tub? Because I got a hot tub out
yeah,
back. Let's do it.
yeah, we're going into like the corners of the internet. We're going into Reddit. We're going into Discord. We're going into yeah.
Yes,
that's that's the
mama.
re that's the rebrand.
We're
Um,
waiting for the fan art, guys. Bring it.
we gotta we gotta get some sponsors. I mean, we gotta get like
NordVPN.
yeah, NordVPN.
We don't believe in your service, but
Jesus,
follow us.
that would be hilarious. Or just like some random sponsor, like some like local farm, like
Dude, I got
like
it. Dude, I'm on it, literally.
like Carl's chicken eggs or something. I don't know.
It's literally like my neighbor who just has a couple of chickens.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
He's
All
literally
right.
like, oh,
This is
Creekmore Farms. Yeah, dude, I got like 6 chickens out back. It slaps, man.
we'll not have a new segment called the Carl's Chicken Solutions of the day.
See, now I need to get a cousin named Carl.
Okay. I don't know why I thought of that name
I
specifically.
love it.
Wait, I didn't think of it. That's a real thing. Never mind. That's of course that's a real thing. I had Popeyes for the first time tonight ever. By the way, side note, it was really good.
Okay. Let's go hot take. And this is a big sidebar, but it should be in the episode.
Huge sidebar, but I love it.
Best chicken sandwich. Where are we going, Paul?
Oh shit.
And obviously we're talking like major chains. If you have a place that's a bit niche, we can include the place that's a bit niche, but we
Okay,
also
here's the
want
thing.
like
I'll
a
tell you,
main.
I have not been to Raising Cane's.
Neither have I. That's okay.
Until tonight, I hadn't been to Popeyes.
I've had Popeyes
Um,
once.
and I only had the chicken tenders tonight, so I don't know about their sandwich.
Mm.
I do like Chick-fil-A a lot. The quality of their chicken is very good, but I've heard the sauce is very bad for you, and like you can only have it every once in a while. Like you know what I mean? Like you get tired of Chick-fil-A sauce if you have it too much. So like, okay, here's why I'm saying this. Here's why I'm saying this because we have a bottle in my house right now, and I liked it for like the first week, and then I was like, wait, I'm using it a little too much, you know? So maybe that's just like recency bias.
No, no, no. You're
But
correct. The bottle isn't. You can't do Chick-fil-A sauce from the bottle. It doesn't work.
okay,
It
I
just like
agree.
this is
I
me.
agree.
I have done it, and it's nice on a sandwich from time to time, but it
Yeah.
just doesn't work. It's not special. It's not like, look, I have to show up to Chick-fil-A. I have to say I need extra sauce, and if I'm not
Yeah.
saying I need extra sauce, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
But I go to Chick-fil-A once in a blue moon, and boy, do I need that extra sauce. All
Yeah,
right,
right, exactly. When you go there, it's like you really
it's a
need that
different
Chick-fil-A,
experience.
you
It's
know?
part of the experience, right? I
Absolutely.
get my iced
Absolutely.
tea, I get my chicken sandwich and my
Yeah.
chicken nuggets, and I
Okay.
hit that shit.
So
Mm,
here's my hot take.
I clean it out.
And this is only because this is the closest chicken sandwich to me, by the way.
Okay.
So it's like the one I have the most access to.
Wendy's do be
Wendy's
sneaky.
has a
Though. They be
very
sneaky with it.
Wendy's has a very, very good chicken sandwich. I can't lie. The quality
Their
is
spicy
very
chicken
good.
sandwich is quite decent.
The sauce is good. The one thing I'll say is like the bread is a little greasy, but
Mm,
like other than that, they have some quality chicken sandwiches, and like to the point where I think my family has gone to Wendy's like 4 times in the last 3 weeks to get chicken sandwiches, like just specifically chicken sandwiches,
I'm here for
and
it.
because like I've been craving that for some
Mm,
reason, and it's not chicken patties because chicken patties are not the same. Not it's like not even remotely the same thing. Chicken sandwiches. If I want a good chicken sandwich right now, there's a Wendy's 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes away from me, whereas I have to drive 35 minutes to a Chick-fil-A. So,
fair.
like
Very
each
fair.
way, 35 minutes each way. So, like I'm not going to go get Chick-fil-A right now because it's
Mm,
just a huge investment of my time. If I'm going to get Chick-fil-A, like that's a big chunk of my day. You know what I mean? So I really got to want it. Which is why when I was living in Maine last summer, it was awesome because on my way home from the Sea Dogs, I could just grab a Chick-fil-A sandwich from the one in Westbrook. You know what I mean? Like it was literally on my drive home. So like on Saturdays, that was my thing is I would have a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Um,
banger.
because those were the day games. But what were we talking about before
Oh,
chicken
wait,
sandwich?
wait. I need to make
Wait,
a
okay.
shout.
What's your top chicken
Well,
sandwich?
I love me a Chick-fil-A. All right, a Chick-fil-A is classic. I would kill for a 2.5 hour drive up to Husson to go and play a game just so I can get Chick-fil-A after the game. All right.
I mean, you could just drive to the one in Westbrook.
No, 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 no. You have to understand. You have to understand. The post-game Chick-fil-A, where I'm
Yeah,
with the boys, I'm sitting in front of the
truth,
pump, just
truth,
posted up in my St. Joe's game.
truth.
Dude, it goes
Dude,
different. It
I
goes
remember
different.
when we went on our Florida trip for baseball my freshman year. There was a Chick-fil-A right next to the hotel.
Dude,
Every single day I was there, literally every single day, and like most of our team was there every single night for dinner, and that was awesome. That was really fun. So yeah, I definitely like if you have a lot of people to go with, it definitely makes it more fun for
way
sure.
more fun. So I
So
love
is
me a
that your
Chick-fil-A.
top sandwich?
No, it's not. That's what's crazy because I love Chick-fil-A like
Okay.
so much. All right, but Chick-fil-A is my Northeast pick. All right, because we actually have Chick-fil-A in the North now, right? Somewhat.
Yeah.
Right. There's at least
Yeah.
3 in Connecticut. So
I
like
know
I
of
get Chick-fil-A
I
on my
know of a
drive.
few. Yeah.
Right. Popeyes, I'm not a fan. I just
Okay.
don't like it. I don't know why.
I
Just not,
I
doesn't do right.
liked it, but like to be fair, I had 2 tenders. You know, like I can't judge from
Yeah.
2 tenders.
The sandwich, I wasn't impressed, and the Cajun fries, I wasn't impressed. I got it on my
Okay.
way back from the Nashua sports management thing that I did in the spring, and it just wasn't.
Nashua, like Nashua, New Hampshire.
Yes. Now
Okay,
it
I thought
could
you
have just
said.
been the Popeyes I was
Wait, what did
at.
you? Hang on, what did you do there?
We were at
There's a.
Riviera.
Oh,
So
okay. I was gonna
it was
say.
like a national. It was a sports summit, and it was just
I
a
was gonna
bunch
say
of
that's kind of like that's
talks.
close to me. I was like, I didn't even know there was a thing that was going on.
It's the Paul. It's the one that's in the like. It's right off the highway in the what's it called? In the rest stop. So I had rest
Mm,
stop Popeyes,
okay.
and dude just didn't do it for me. Um,
Okay. Was it near the
and it
mall?
also I don't even know, dude.
Okay.
It just took way too long, but it was the only thing. So I had that. But all right, here is my prayer. We need a cookout north of
I don't even know what a
Cookout.
cookout is.
It is
So
the best fast food franchise in all of the US.
really,
Yes.
that's a bold statement.
Paul, Cookout slaps. I will genuinely drive 8 hours to go to Cookout right now. Honestly,
All right.
if I had
You
three people to
you
go
wanna
to
pick
Pop,
me up on the way?
I gotta drive north before I go south. Goddamn, yeah, okay,
Oh,
let's do
true,
it.
true, true. I'll pick
All
you
right,
up on the way.
all right, cool. They have 45 milkshake flavors, and to get a meal, dude, you're spending less than $12 every time, and you're
Okay,
getting a
what do you mean? What
milkshake
do you mean
and
a
a meal.
meal? Like, are you talking one
All right,
sandwich, or are you?
I'm
Okay,
talking sandwich, hush puppies, collard greens, and a milkshake.
that's all $12.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Look,
That's
Cookout
not even
slaps, dude.
fair.
Do not
That's not
sleep
even
on
fair.
Cookout. If you're in the South, go to Cookout. If you're in
All right,
Appalachia,
I've never
go to
heard of
Cookout.
this before, so I'm gonna have
The
to go
watermelon
try it
milkshake,
sometime.
it's sneaky good. Don't doubt the summer special.
Watermelon?
All right?
Watermelon.
Yes. Watermelon. See, I'm telling you,
Okay.
dude, Cookout just be different. All right?
Okay. I mean I wouldn't have thought of that, but okay.
It slaps.
All right, and that was the
The
Carl's
longest sidetrack
chicken.
we have ever done, but the best sidetrack
Yeah,
we have ever done.
that was the Carl's chicken solutions of the day. Um, all right,
I love you.
back to how to solve an economic downturn after
You go to Cookout. That's how. All right? You're
after a
getting a
recession.
meal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god. Okay. So I honestly I think we kind of touched on like all the. I know we didn't touch on group ticket sales deals. That was the one thing I had written
Mm,
down that we didn't talk about.
I
So
love it.
incentivizing people to come to the park as in bigger groups instead of buying individual tickets, two or three people at a time. Incentivize companies to come, incentivize youth organizations to come, incentivize churches to come, incentivize shelters and community-based organizations to come. You're like YMCA's, that type of place. Incentivize all these people to come by discounting a large group number of tickets, and that already is a thing in the first place, but maybe dedicate more of your staff to selling those tickets
Mm,
versus selling the the family packs or the um, individual tickets, that type of stuff. Another way to do that, like a big group discount type of deal or a system, really is something that I think is pretty unique to specifically here. I've told you about this before. The Red Sox do student 9 tickets, which is like
yes.
if you are a college or high school student, actually technically, yeah, you can sign up for either way. I think um, you can get $9 tickets to go to Red Sox game, like $9 per seat, and like for the park that has the most expensive ticket prices in the league, that's a really really good deal for a lot of high school and college kids, and it
It's
brings
amazing.
like the bleachers are packed with high school and college kids,
Mm,
and that's how they get like kids our age to the game, and it works really well. The one thing I don't love about the system is that you don't get the text if the tickets are available or not until the day of the game. So like yesterday I went with my parents, we already had tickets, but I got a text at like 11 a.m. that there were going to be tickets available, like student 9 tickets available for the game at 7:10 last night. But if you could implement that type of a system and start doing that for students, not limiting it to high school and college kids, but coordinating with different levels of schools and saying, hey, we're going to give you these group discounted tickets. Let's say, even like for younger kids, we're going to
yeah.
give you a group discount on tickets as a field trip for your school. If
Mm,
you if you come to the park with all of us. You know what I mean? So like that's a good way to incentivize people to be there, and it's also a good way to make your product more affordable and adjust to what your fan base needs.
No, very true and fantastic take. Right, the New York Red Bulls do a very similar thing. I think they're like $15, but
Maybe it's not specific to the Red Sox, but that's just what I have from my personal knowledge.
well, absolutely. Well, the student nine tickets are very like Red Sox. It's a Red Sox staple. Other organizations do it; they don't do it as well. Is the best way to put it, right?
Yeah.
To realistically think about it, make your product more accessible, right? And that's exactly how they're doing it there. Now, there's a criteria to be able to access it. So maybe you find different sorts of criteria to make that accessible because you can't just give a student nine ticket to anybody, right? Because then everybody's just waiting for the day of the game to get tickets, right? Which isn't good for you as an organization, but you set it up for success and it goes really well. So yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on different types of discounts that you could implement for how to make tickets specifically more affordable?
There's a lot more you can do in connecting to community organizations that are supporting those that are in need, whether it be food drives, etc., and setting up for success where because you attend this, because you're using this resource that we're supporting, well, maybe this organization has the ability to share tickets or buy tickets at a discounted price and give them to people who are relatively in need and maybe interested in that product. So there's a lot you could do, right? It's about developing a community and being involved in the community and having a heart, right? And that heart
Yeah.
has to beat.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we've solved the well, maybe not solved, but we've given our ideas on how to do it for a major organization. Do you want to talk about and go the route of a minor league organization like we had discussed, or do you want to leave it at where we have it?
Well, let's just touch to the minors just a little bit, right? Because the situation is a little bit different, right? For the
Obviously, you're
minors,
not working with as much resources.
right? You don't have as much resources, you don't have as much people, but also to that extent, you have a closer tie to the community because you're in a smaller market, right? And the people that are attending it are actually people probably that are living in that community rather
Yep.
than a fan maybe who's coming from Japan, right? To go to
And
an
that
LA
really
Dodgers,
care about the team too, and I can speak to
right?
that.
They
Both of us
really
can
care
speak
about
to
that.
that from personal experience. So,
Oh, very true,
yeah.
right? There are people that are actually have ties to it, both either through family or through time or through history or a connection to the town, and it's really unique, right? So I think really realistically, you could apply all the same concepts where you're trying to get involved in the community, but with a smaller team, it's a lot harder, right? Because your priority is just to meet that bare minimum of managing a game, right? When it's I'm at a minor league game, right, and it's me, my boss, and a friend of mine who are running everything, and I'm doing photography and field setup and field takedown and running the video camera and live streaming the game and running the socials, right? How much time does that leave for me to make sure that people are able to access it no matter what?
Wait, okay, hang on. Is that real? Are those like? Do you have to do all of that at AC?
Well, for right now, right? Because a lot sometimes it's me and my
Damn,
boss.
dude, that's a
I
lot.
I
That
show up two
that
hours
is a
early.
lot.
I do field setup, right? I go
Okay.
and we set up the clock and the camera. And the camera's really easy. It's just recording the game. We don't live stream it
Yeah,
right now.
the
Uh,
camcorder. Yeah, I got you.
right? So I'm just setting up the VO camera that's recording the game. Bing, bam, boom. That takes me 5 minutes, right? And then I'm on the field, making sure the referees are good, making sure the away team is good, making sure our team is good, supporting them, right? Taking photography the entire time. Sometimes being a bit of a ball boy, right? I wear a lot of hats, right? But that's what a minor league organization is. That's what you're asked to do,
True.
right?
True. Be a yes
Without
man.
a large team, you have to be that guy that's willing to take that hands-on approach and really get it done.
Absolutely.
Um, Now, am I looking to build that larger team? Yes. So if you're listening to this and you want an internship for 2025, give me a ring. All right, we'll talk.
That's
Shameless
crazy. You
plug.
went from intern to hiring manager in like 6 months.
I was really, dude, Paul. I was a hiring manager as an intern, like live.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so let's put it this way: of we want to make the same community impact, but we have to do it at a smaller scale with a different field of view to it, right? There's less, you have less of a profitability margin, so there's a lot less that you can actually go and invest into something. So probably as a minor league franchise, you're seeking to invest time and invest possibly free entrance or free, like maybe you aren't charging for tickets. Maybe you're just focusing on your product and you're letting something else be that major revenue generator, whether it be partnerships or sponsorships
Yeah.
or youth programs and all these other things.
Community nights can be a
Correct.
big thing.
Absolutely.
Um, Something that came to my mind is like hosting movie nights could be something
Absolutely.
that they could do. I know, and obviously this is a major organization, not a minor league organization. I think it would be even more successful at the minor league level, just because we talked about how close knit into the community they are. But
Mm.
I know, like a week or two ago, the Red Sox hosted a Star Wars night where they literally just projected Star Wars up on the jumbo
Do they
screen in center
actually?
field. I swear to God, literally just projected Star Wars on the center field screen, and
Honestly,
a bunch
kind of
of
slap.
people just came and watched it. And I
Yeah.
found out about this because one of my intern colleagues went to this thing. Like his mom had tickets to go to it, so I was like, wow, that's like a really good idea. So I actually think that's in a minor league setting, that could be
Oh, amazing.
something where you're bringing the community together. It's affordable for them because you're not going to sell those tickets for a lot of money. You know, they're going to
No.
watch a movie, right?
Yeah.
You're maybe charging them, especially in a minor league situation, charging them maybe like $5 to $10 a pop. You
Yeah.
know, so like,
Dude, I would say even less.
right. It makes it super affordable for your fans. You can still sell concessions. Your merchandise store is still open. You know, you'll get sales from that. That's another thing we didn't touch on is the merchandise. How do you take that from a place where it was maybe priced to where, you know, people may not be able to afford it now if there's an economic downturn. So how do you adjust that as well? And I
Good thought.
think maybe part of it is if you can't change your supplier, maybe don't mark it up quite as much as you would. Maybe sell it for in the long term. In the long term, this isn't a viable business solution, but in the short term, to keep your fans, maybe for a month or two, you decide, hey, we're gonna sell this basically right above where we paid for it,
Mm.
cost wise, and we'll still make a little profit. We just won't make as much as we would have.
And
Um,
it's hard, right? 'Cause specifically in merchandise, there's a lot of different organizations that have their hands in it, right? So
yeah,
you
for sure.
have the person who's the retailer, right? So you're using, let's say you're sponsored by Puma, so you're selling Puma merchandise. So Puma's got their hand in it, they get a percentage, right? Your organization gets a percentage. Then you also have the person who's doing the printing and the making and the marketing of all of it, right? So it's a difficult thing to mark down because there's a lot of different people with their hands in the pot, for a lack of better
Yeah,
words.
absolutely. You would have to jump through a few hoops
But
to get
I
to get
think
that to
when
work.
you go and you see and you connect to those organizations and say, hey, this is happening in the world right now. How do we want to respond to it as a unit, as a team, and then go and address it? Can you bring in a new sponsor, a new partner who says, yeah, we want to sponsor this? Put
Yeah,
a small little, like, a thing on the back of the shirt. And you're like, well, hey, our name's there. We're getting some advertising from it. And we're actually supporting
yeah.
and making the
I think
product
a
more
lot of
accessible.
companies would be willing to back that. Yeah, because
Absolutely.
it's a benefit for them too. Because not only do they have their brand on the merchandise, they also can now market it and say, "Hey, look at what we're doing in the community."
Correct.
With in combination with this the minor league team. So I think it's kind of a win-win situation, and for those companies, maybe let's say you're selling at like 25% above what you paid for, like what it costs to produce. Maybe you sell it for 17% or like 15% or something. You know what I mean? To make it more affordable for people. So you mark it down a little bit, but you're still making profit.
Absolutely, right? So trying to cut down on the margin, make something more accessible. At the same time, you could make it so you're actually producing less product and seeking to invest in a long-term product, right? So PSG this past season, their away kit is actually going to be worn for the next 2 seasons. So they just
Okay.
launched one that's be worn for the 2024-25 season and the 2025-26 season, which is super cool. So being able to go and
Yeah.
say, well, now you only have to buy one jersey for the next 2 seasons and you're still representing and looking like the team. You don't have to buy that new jersey every year. Now, the U.S. consumer, I don't believe, buys the new jersey every year. There's people who do.
No,
There's a lot of
that's
people who
that.
don't.
That's really not a thing here. We don't
Yeah,
really get teams that have new jerseys every year.
right, exactly. So it's something where maybe you're seeking, maybe you don't have to buy the jersey with that new player's name on it, right? Especially in soccer, there's new kits every season. It's how they do it. It's a big fashion
Yeah,
thing. So same with basketball, they're similar but different, right? They have the city editions and all this stuff. Maybe you don't
yeah,
do that. Maybe you create less of an incentive to try to for your clientele to spend, knowing what the financial situation in our country is, knowing what the financial situation in the world is. Now, is that necessarily business supportive? No, but maybe there's something that you can do. But what I
yeah,
always want to come down to this type of thing with of it's so important as an organization to identify what your initiatives are. And the UN has a list of 17 sustainability goals, right? And if you haven't seen them, I highly suggest
I
looking it up.
haven't.
But if you look at the branding of an organization and you connect your mission statement to these goals that are set to improve our world, right, and seeking to do that, the UN obviously is a big government organization. I'm not saying I'm a genius on the UN, but I've taken a little bit of foreign policy and international relations studies, and realistically being able to go and look at something like this and connect your organization to something that we are part of a bigger cause and we want to help support people. That's when you say, that's when somebody says during an environmental or a financial crisis, right? Well, no matter what, I want to spend my money with this organization because I know they support things that I believe in that support me in the long term, right?
Yep, and
So it's
that's
connecting
standing
to
for
the
the
big
right
picture.
things. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's standing for the right things. That's realizing what the people in your community believe in and trying to connect with that. And that really is maybe the biggest piece of fan retention. If you have a team that isn't uh, isn't operating ethically, but is still putting a good product in the field, you're gonna lose a percentage of your fan base for sure. Some people
Especially
will
when
still
that
watch
product
because
drops, if it ever drops.
yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, that's definitely a huge piece of it, and sustainability fits into that pretty nicely. So I think that's definitely another thing to talk about. Where how do you make your park or your grounds, your facilities, whatever you're using, and your practices, how your merchandise gets
Mm,
produced, how you sell your tickets. Like, do you even need to print paper tickets? Can you do it all electronically? Thinking about those types of things actually will help the organization spend less money, so you can help the community more by spending it more on the community. You take a
mm,
percentage of the revenue that the organization is making, put it back into the community by cutting costs in other ways, and
absolutely.
that's what sustainability can give an organization.
Absolutely. And it's really something that you can do no matter how big or small you are, right? It's about connecting your mission, your vision, your values to the community that you're a part of and to a overall mission and goal that supports people and tells somebody no matter what it's going to cost me, I want to be part of this. I want to be part of this
Yeah,
journey, right? And it obviously in an economic crisis, as we said before, it's about having a heartbeat. Can you have that heartbeat when you're out of that crisis too? Right? And I think the answer is yes. And I think the answer is difficult because organizations obviously we want to be profitable, right? Like part of my
yeah,
job
for
at
sure.
ACC is to find new ways to make money, right? Part of my job wherever I go is to find new ways and new revenue streams. But how can I do that in a way that is actually going to grow community and benefit everyone involved, right? We want to create mutually beneficial relationships. And sometimes you have to lose to win. And I think for a
Yeah,
lot of these types of
that's what I was
situations,
thinking.
right,
If
you
you if
have
you
to
give
be
up a
willing
little bit
as
of
an
profit in the short
organization.
term,
Exactly.
sorry, go ahead.
You're okay. You have to be willing as an organization, as Paul said, to take a little bit of less profit in the short term, take a small loss to have a big win, and see the impact that has one on your community, but two on your organization and your development long term. It's about
I think
natural
that's
growth.
I think that's the best phrase that can sum it up.
I thoroughly
Of the
agree.
whole problem that we've been talking about. Take a small loss to create a big win by keeping your fans. You know,
Yes.
that's that's the whole essence of the situation, I think. Um, and show them that you care, really, is what it comes down to.
Mm.
So, dude, this has been pretty fun to talk about. I think maybe
Wholesome
like
episode.
once,
Very wholesome
yeah,
episode. That's all I
yeah.
can say.
I think maybe once in a while we should put this in rotation and
I agree.
like come up with a problem that we talk about to try to solve, and not be like I liked how this was more flowy, less robotic of like us just reading facts and stuff. So definitely a good exercise.
Tentacles.
Right. Hopefully, we will have a guest on soon. I discussed that with you a little bit pre-show, so we'll see how that lines up. And as always, thank you guys for listening. I hope you liked the content of this podcast, and let us know if you want us to keep doing these in the future, or if you thought this was a complete bust. Maybe we're overestimating ourselves. So, as always, have a good
Nonetheless,
week.
listen to our chicken bit and tell us if
Yeah.
we should play ASMR or not.
For sure. Tell us what your top chicken sandwich is. That's what we
Boy,
want to hear in the
absolutely. Good
comments this
question.
week.
Have you
That's what
ever
we want
been
to
to
hear.
Cookout? If you haven't, you need to go.
Yep, there we go. Put that in our comments this week, and we'll see you guys soon.